explanation real quickly about, so,
You have to use the mic.
sorry, are you ready?
I'm in. Yep, I started.
Barbara is a one-woman show tonight. If you guys didn't see the notices, our district manager isn't with us tonight because it's the wake for her father who passed away. So just to give you some background on the Soho dispensary applicant, they were to be here last meeting. As we know, they did not show at the meeting and they did not let us know. They were actually celebrating one of the evenings of Sukkot, so they could have let us know. We would have rescheduled. And so they reached out. We reached out to them. We were able to get them rescheduled for tonight. They should be here. We said 7:15, so about 10 minutes or so. I think if they're not here at 7:15, the gentleman that came early, the early bird freaking gets the worm. You will get to go first. And then so we'll just have to sit and wait. He did want to request to meet with us via Zoom, but we felt it's better to come in person for Soho. So hopefully they will be here. I have to admit, trying to nail this particular applicant down is sort of surprising. They keep sort of wanting exceptions. You know, they want the variance. The last time they came, they wanted the variance because they wanted to be able to be right behind Curaleaf. And now at this location, they're also going to need a variance. So they're still going to ask for the variance. And then they've asked us several times throughout this process. They had wanted us to schedule a meeting, a special meeting with the whole board to just hear their application because they're in a rush. And I'm like, no, that's not how we do it. We stick to the process because the process is how we're fair. So just understand that I'm just giving this background so that you guys have a context for sort of how they have been engaging with us so far today, which is really surprising considering this is now the second time. Good evening, Mr. Brantley. Are the buses being kinder to you these days? Are the buses being kind? Oh boy, so the buses aren't being good. So there are the two applications tonight. There are two different locations, which is good. There are two very different parts of the district, which is good. That I think that really helps with distribution of these businesses. Neither one of these, we do not have a business on Austin Street. The closest business to the application on Queens Boulevard is the one down at the old Chase location, which is like 4 bus stops away, I think. So I think that's good. Yes, so tonight we'll hear, the format will go as this. We'll hear from the applicant, and then we will ask any questions that we feel aren't answered satisfactorily on the application. And then we will hear from the second applicant, and they will present to us, and then we will ask them any questions that we feel again need a fuller explanation. And then when we finish with them, they can be dismissed, and then we can have a discussion and then take a vote on what we think our recommendation should be. Any questions on the process? Nope. Our other applicant got here.
Sorry, he's here.
No, you're gonna be here. Sorry.
I'm so sorry.
So any questions about the process tonight? Awesome. We're gonna go ahead and get started. We're still expecting Lindsay Lewis tonight as our public member. This is actually, for those of you that are new, Lindsay this is her second term serving, so I'm looking forward to her getting here tonight. Then we'll have quorum. Should be great. So Gladys, turn over you.
Yes, I just want to also remind everyone that we're being recorded, and this will be up on YouTube, maybe later on tomorrow, and or next week. Thank you. So thank you everyone for being here. Good evening. I'm sorry about the little confusion for a moment. Thank you. And please just go ahead, introduce yourself. I know that we know you, but just introduce yourself. Yes, for the camera.
Hi everybody, good to see you all again, and whatever future us is, good to see you too. I'm David Fader. I'm here representing Soho Dispensary Corporation. Soho Dispensary Corporation is Dispensary Corp rather, is a women-owned business. It's owned by my wife, 100% owner. We previously were for this community board and were approved by the subsequent vote at the full board meeting, and were approved for a waiver to be within spitting distance really of Curaleaf on Continental, I think it's Continental, right? And we were very excited to get started. We had very big plans, and unfortunately, due to the excitement, I'm careful I say it's public, I don't want to embarrass anybody, but because the excitement of the project, the negotiations with the lease ended up becoming problematic for the lounge that we had anticipated opening up. And that really put a stymie in our plans, and especially with the budget that we had allocated and the rent we were going to pay, it just wasn't going to be a sustainable opportunity for us to be there with what the landlords were asking for the lounge space, unfortunately. So we struggled. This is our third relocation, unfortunately, because of just the way that the system works. We were finally able to find a location that is compliant, with the landlord that's excited to have us. It took a long time for them to understand, what our plans were and how we were planning to operate. But thank God, we really came very far with them, and they're fully supportive of our operation there. We're around the corner now on Austin Street as opposed to the main block. And to be honest, I've lived here for 11 years now. I was not so familiar with how often they shut down the streets by Austin and on that main road on Continental, which would really been, I was very excited for our business to be here, right by the transportation hub, right by the subway, right by the buses. I thought that would be very convenient for public, access. But, when it came down to, and I know there have been conversations with community boards about how often they should shut down, they should street closures, but nevertheless, it was something that I had not anticipated going into it. But now, having spent more time with a business opportunity that is relevant for us, it was a really serious factor that I put into our calculus. So, short version of where we're at now is we have a location that's 7119 Austin. We're right across the street from what I don't know who's the tenant is across the street. There's a new tenant coming in. I think it's another Panda Express. I knew it was another food place, and I didn't realize how often every time when we got the new location secured, I spent a lot of time just like walking up and down the block during the day and night. I just want to see who is in that area and who we're actually serving. There's right across the street. There's a restaurant that's open almost all night long. It's so busy. I didn't realize how busy it was in that area. And then during a lot of the events at Forest Hill Stadium, where there's concerts, things like that, I spend time just like walking around just to see where people are congregating and where maybe this could be convenient and serve as an access point for people that want to consume, or rather want to pick up product. And I felt that this could be a really good location on Austin Street. There was, previously, as I'm sure you all know, there's so many illegal dispensaries operating there. In fact, the location that we were previously secured, that was approved, we had, even after we were approved, we were having problems with that dispensary, the illegal shop, that we couldn't even get it shut down. It was a big problem. I think I communicated with the community board. I told them, like, hey, we have a lease here. We already approved here. We're already on the map, and this thing is still operating. We're trying to shut down, But thank God, we bob and weave and move forward. So here we are. We found a new location, and we're hopeful that this could be a good fit for the community and make access for people who are trying to find products that are not necessarily owned by a big registered organization. We have a great diversity of products, accessible. Austin Street is obviously a very important access point for people that are shopping during the day and the night. We were considering another location on Austin Street at one point, which was a little further up the block, right by the bars. But there's been a change in the regulations with the OCM and how they measure distances between dispensaries and schools. So this location that was further up the block was, we were like 9 steps down the 10 steps road to get this property secured. And, right as we were about to sign with them, the OCM notified everybody that, hey, these regulations are now changing, and because we didn't have an application already submitted, we could no longer submit to get, further up the block, which I thought also would have been a good spot, near the bars and, just where the nightlife was. But, at the same time, maybe that's not the best idea to be right next to a bar where people consume cannabis and crossfade is a real, I don't know if you guys know the term, but when somebody consumes alcohol and then consumes cannabis, it can have a, not such a good effect on their ability to function well. So being a little further away is actually a positive thing that we're glad we're not in the mix of there. And yeah, that's what we're looking to provide a product here. I'm a cannabis business attorney. I've been doing this since 2013. I still do, cannabis compliance for companies throughout the state, do transactions on licensing and help people navigate the ever-changing regulations of cannabis. We're looking to run a very compliant, high-end business here. We have a bunch of plans that I think will make us very novel in terms of how we present ourselves and how we serve the community in terms of safety, in terms of product control, quality control rather. I'm not sure if you're aware, there was just a big recall on cannabis products because of a distributor that was bringing in products from what was called a reverse licensing. It was a big problem. But amongst the things that retailers have to be conscientious of is not just are they getting products that will sell well, is are you getting products from reputable companies that are actually following protocol. And I think that for me personally, just being in the industry for a long time and knowing a lot of the players and knowing more of the nuances, I think that most people that are operating in the industry based on compliance, I think that we have a better feel on how to run an orderly business that will, we're not pie in the sky, we don't have big ambitions to be the only dispensary in the world, they know that we're going to be the biggest and the best. I think we're going to run a good business and serve the community well. My kids go to school here, my nieces and nephews go to school here. I'm going to speak louder because, when the lights go out, we can do kumbaya, I'm assuming that was, I'm taking that not as an ominous sign. Yeah, we're hoping to be, a good member of this community, just like, we've been, my wife grew up here, my siblings, we have a lot to lose, God forbid, if we don't treat this very delicate business the right way. So, yeah, we're looking here to serve the community in the right way, be stewards of this product in the right way. Here to answer any questions you have. Sorry my wife couldn't be here, she's with our 4 children.
That's okay. My question is, I remember from the last time that you presented to us that you were interested in creating on-site consumption in that location. I know that the locations are different. Is that something that you're looking forward to?
Yeah, I'm happy you brought it. So we have, this location is pretty unique. It's been a month-to-month tendency for quite some time. I think they use it as like a field office for maybe some local campaigns at some point, or some field office. I'm not sure. I haven't been like buying it, but that's what I was told about the history of the space. It was previously a glasses store, and it's got really nice kind of setup already as it is. So in terms of construction and build out, we're not looking to like tear out the whole place. We actually think that's a really good infrastructure just for a regular retail business. But upstairs, there is an entire floor that's available for us to use as offices, for dispatch and things like that, and potentially on-site consumption. We've had a lot of conversations with the landlord who's owned this property in his family for many, many years. He's very concerned, and rather, he's very sensitive to the concept of on-site consumption, specifically in this location because it's adjacent to residential units. So we've been very, heavily negotiating how we will approach on-site consumption. We explained to him that on-site consumption doesn't necessarily mean smoking, right? Cannabis can be consumed with, food, beverages, vaping even. But with smoking, it was a much more delicate conversation because of the residential space that's next door. So we've basically discussed with the landlord that if, first of all, as of right now, on-site consumption is not, they don't allow for it yet. But when they do, the proposed regulations included things about air filtration. So, if we would ever contemplate on-site consumption, first of all, our landlord would have to approve it, separate from the OCM's, regulations, which obviously we would comply with. But also, we're also sensitive to it. We don't want to have neighbors who are not happy that we're there. So with respect to on-site consumption, I think that we would consider probably edibles and more like a coffee shop type of vibe, as opposed to like, smoke, a hot box upstairs next to some residential building, as being the way that we would introduce it to our business model. It's funny, but the regulations allow for on-site consumption to be at your location or at an immediately adjacent location. So upstairs is immediately adjacent, next door on both sides could be immediately adjacent. I don't know what the Hanover Bank's plan is, but if at Hanover Bank ever want to go, maybe we would take over their lease and make it dedicated on-site consumption space or, something like that. But as of right now, with respect to on-site consumption, I think that the best way that we can serve it is in a delicate way where we're not causing problems to the neighbors, but we definitely want to make this service available and have a safe place where people can consume with education and somebody overseeing them, say, hey, maybe don't start off with a 100 milligram edible, maybe start off with, a small, dose. And because our business is based upon my experience in education and in the regulations, I'm very interested in having educational seminars or just the ability for people to come in and not just go to a dispensary. So I may have spoken about this last time, but when I first got into the industry, well, not first, but a few years into it, maybe 2015, 16, I did a bunch of retail studies and how people sold cannabis, and this was in California, where the dispensaries were, much more, available. And I had friends who owned dispensaries, so we were able to run these studies. And what we saw was when you walk into a dispensary, effectively the salespeople were trying to sell you anything. There was no rhyme or reason as to why they were offering one product or the other. They would just push whatever product they could on you. And it rubbed me the wrong way. I felt very uncomfortable about it, especially because the study that we did was, because these were medical dispensaries, I would go in with I and the other people that we were running the studies with, we would go in and we were recording the whole entire experience just so we can get the data. And we would go in and say, what would you recommend for an old person in pain? That was the entire line, no other information. And without fail, every single dispensary told us definitively, oh, you should give him this edible, or you should give her this cream, put it on her knee. Nobody asked who, it was he or she, why was there pain, was it surgery? Nobody asked them one thing. And I was very uncomfortable with the idea that this product that, especially in California, that was being treated as a medicine, was being sold so cavalierly. So I feel that someone who's been in the space for a long time on the regulated side, I feel that it's my almost duty to try to treat this the right way and give customers and shoppers who are especially unfamiliar people, people that may be trying cannabis for the first time, an actual education and not just try to upsell for the most that we can. Because I think that being part of the community, it means like really caring about the community. It's not just what can you sell somebody and you don't ever see them again. These are probably people that you're going to be seeing regularly and you want to treat them the right way. Yeah, sure.
So you just on the adding on to the part you mentioned about the insides looking very nice and not wanting to do a lot of construction. Perfect. I love that. I do have a concern though. I noticed that there's a big window, based on what I'm seeing, based on the storefront. It's a big window and then a glass door. In the idea of you doing any additions, are you looking to potentially put up a wall to have a little foyer area? Because a lot of the other successful cannabis places around here kind of have used a whole bank or something that's making have a foyer so that they can kind of curtail the younger people who might try to sneak in, or people that are maybe a little belligerent because they maybe are like already. So is that something that you're thinking of? Because we had someone 2 months ago who wanted to do like a former storefront like what you're doing, and they actually came back to us in our bigger meeting and decided that they are going to put up a little half wall or something just to keep it like a little more secure. It's not all that.
We have security consultants that we're working with who are advising us on how to do things compliantly and safely. It's definitely a concern of mine that we're right on the main street, and it's, I'm used to having a vestibule, I'm used to having a man trap, just from my other experiences in other markets. This is definitely something that we're sensitive to. And whatever our security consultants are going to advise us on, that's what we're planning on doing. Certainly, in terms of construction, we're not looking to build something outwards. If anything, it'll be, an interior wall, maybe a section. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that I'm open to, but we're going with the advice of our security consultants. In fact, one of the things that we like about the space is, as you pointed out, the glass windows, they actually have already installed in the space a roll-down cage on the inside, which we were thrilled, like, oh, it's amazing. It's one thing that we don't have to pay for that's already, built in. Certainly we have to beef up security in terms of cameras and other elements there. But yeah, I mean, it's possible that we would be doing something like that, but I can't tell you today because we have to have our security consultants advise us on, you know, what would make the most sense. And certainly, I also want to make it appealing. I don't want it to make it, you know.
There's not construction. They're not construction consultants. You're security.
No, it's a security. So it's based on our security consultant. They're going to advise us, and then we're going to determine what we can do.
And so just add on to security consultants,
Yeah.
do you know if they are trained in de-escalation techniques? Because I know you said they're not armed, which we are fine with, but do you know that, or do they
Our
just?
security consultants are physical security consultants. That's what I'm referring to as physical use.
Yeah, whoever is your security.
Whoever we're hiring for security is
Yes.
going to be trained in de-escalation, yeah, for sure.
Great. And my last question is, I know we talked about this last time. The responses are a little high level, and I like more detail, so I just have a question, and I'll just ask the one, I'll let other people ask the other question they may have. 11 p.m., I know it's Austin Street, but we all know Forest Hills, it tends to calm down around 9:30 or 10. Is that a full on, like,
We're not fixed with the
factual?
No,
Okay.
not at all. We're going to play how the market presents itself.
Great.
You know, I'm not sure how best to address it with respect to events in that area, because I think that we have to be conscientious of. You know, some days, like for example, if there's like a major event on the streets, it may be better if we're actually not even open in some days. There's nowhere to drive around, or it may be better that, you know, we're open only late in some instances when there's like a big, you know, event or something like that. So we're gonna ebb and flow as needed, but our guidelines and what we're trying to accomplish is within that range. And maybe we open earlier, and maybe, you know, we close earlier. I don't know. We're going to decide based upon how the community, you know, responds to our location.
Sorry, I did have one other question. That was based on the lease. So we all know, at least based on, you know, you've done this, and usually a business, when they're open their first year, they tend to not be in the black, they tend to be more in the red. I just want to know, do you have a backup plan to make sure that you're maintaining your customers and everything? Because I think that's actually a really good amount that you're paying for the monthly. That's a pretty good price for Austin Street, in my opinion. And that's all.
It's still crazy.
Yeah, still a 5-year lease too. I think that's really great. But I just kind of want to see, what is your overall thought process, or do you have one of like how your plans are if you notice that the foot traffic may not be as high as you expected it to be, based on, you know, the competing process of having someone on Curaleaf down there. You're not right next to it, but just kind of thinking, you know,
It's a really good question. I'm actually happy you're asking, because this is more like a business question, and I'm very sensitive to it because I don't want to flop, and I don't want my investors to be out of business. Fortunately, the people that we're bringing in to participate in the funding are also people that have significant experience on the retail side, the regulated space. So we're also going to be leaning on, as from what they explained to me, a lot of technology in terms of marketing and customer retention, things like that. You have AI now. There's so many more tools that are accessible for you know, customer engagement, CRM, things like that. Yeah, it's a risk. It's a big risk. This business is a big risk, and getting into any business is a risk. And certainly this business, we've been trying to get this license operational since 2013. Since 2023. So I'm very familiar with how things can, you know, go as planned or not. Even just in getting the business started. You know, once the business starts, you know, even more so. Do we have a plan? We're going to do our best. We're going to lean as heavily as we can into accessibility through delivery. I don't think that our business will sink or swim based upon necessarily retail sales per se, but we're going to do our best. That's what we're going to do. And we have thankfully we have backers who have familiarity with this, and so they won't be shocked when the first year when they have to come out of pocket, if necessary, God forbid, if they have to come out of pocket and, you know, sustain the business longer than they had anticipated. But there's a risk factor that they're comfortable with. Yeah. Thanks for asking.
Thank you for answering your question so thoroughly. The question regarding the employee in charge, you said it's going to be a management company. Can you tell us a little bit more about that selection process, and is this company dedicated to managing cannabis stores?
Yeah, so this kind of goes with what I just mentioned before. So our investors are coming from the regulated space. They run multiple retail stores. They still run multiple retail stores throughout the country. And They are very, very good at what they do. So they're coming in and they're going to be selecting the employee in charge in this location. We have another, not we, but this associated group. We have another location that we're working on right now in another part of Queens, and they're on top of both of those things. And that's actually kind of a benefit that we have, is that there's going to be an association of our businesses that will support each other. Both are actually in Queens, but in different areas of Queens. So I'm hopeful that this group will bring their pedigree that they've shown from their other businesses, which have been very successful, to play over here. In our other location, they've actually uprooted their entire business, one of their retail businesses, and bringing all their employees to their other location, people that are like really streamlined and have good infrastructure and are compliant. So that's who we're leaning on. It's going to be internal. We're no longer going. Maybe the last time I was here was before I had narrowed this group down to be my investors and our investors and management. But now we actually have a cohesive group that has extraordinary experience. They actually brought in another participant that they brought in as an attorney who specializes in tobacco and vape law. He used to work for, I think, either Marlboro or one of the big tobacco companies, like a very straight tech guy. And he's also helping me with compliance, making sure that everything we're doing is very, very straight. So he's assisting to make sure that the group that we're bringing in is not just good at running a good business, but are also staying in line. So that's how we found our team.
Does anyone else wants to ask a question?
You want to use my mic? Yeah.
Thank you for coming. I just had a couple of questions. So I was just looking at why did you choose this community to open your business? And you said, you live here, but you also mentioned that you hope that your business is a good fit for the community. So I just want to understand, why do you think your business is a good fit for the community? Also, being that Curaleaf is about a 3-minute walk from where you're going to be located, what distinguishes your business from theirs? So how are you going to position, your business from theirs?
Got it. So thanks for asking. So Curaleaf is a registered organization. They're a medical company. They also sell adult use cannabis, but they are not required to sell as diverse array of products as necessary. In fact, they're not incentivized to, because they can maximize their margins by selling products that they grow and that they manufacture. So we have the ability and, in fact, necessity to host an array of products that are not going to be offered by Curaleaf. Additionally, we're a women-owned business. We're a small business. And unlike this gargantuan company that's a multi-billion-dollar success story that is just another feather in their cap, we hope to be a success story for a small business. We hope, with respect to the first question of why we hope this will be a good fit for the community, is because we hope that we can do good business. We hope that we can be a good fit for the community in terms of how we operate the business. Cannabis is already being sold on Austin Street, as you know, illegally, and people are frequenting those businesses. We're hoping to be a safe zone where people can shift from their shopping patterns of supporting illegal businesses that are dangerous to the community and dangerous for children and don't have any age restrictions and don't have any product quality control, to a place like ours, which we will serve the community and help alleviate some of this madness that's happening with the illegal market. In as much as we hope that the state will crack down on every illegal business, we haven't seen that. In fact, just as I told you, you heard earlier, even when we secured a location, there was an illegal business operating there. We couldn't even get them out, and we were approved. It was on the map. I had to contact OCM and said, hey, if somebody comes in and buys a product here, are we going to lose our license? It's not our business. So that's why we hope that we're going to be a good fit for the community. Not because cannabis per se is good or bad, or we just recognize that every business like this, regulated, we have to do a good job, and the community has to appreciate what we're doing. We don't want to be a blight. We want to be a benefit to the community.
I had a quick question about, you have the note in here about offering classes. Could you elaborate a little bit more? What does that mean?
Sure. So to what I mentioned earlier about the on-site, there's a lot of things that people think they know about cannabis based on how they grew up, based on the news, based on their friends, and then there's a lot of things that people don't know about cannabis. Some people are coming in with zero education. Some people are coming in with a tremendous amount of misinformation. So what I think that we are perhaps charged with is the obligation to inform people and give them the right information about safe consumption, about product selection, helping people achieve their goals, and while simultaneously being conscientious of what their risks are and what they don't want. The classes that we probably, obviously we don't have a list of classes yet because we don't have a business yet there. But in terms of the types of classes that we would want to give in terms of education would be primarily focused on products, on consumption, on safe consumption, and educating people on what products may be a good fit for them and what risks that they have to be conscientious of when they're consuming this product. Although the classes could be how to roll a joint. I'm saying like what our primary objective, I would say, in terms of education would be important things like that.
That's my problem, please.
Hi, you gave a brief example earlier about a distributor recall, so thank you for sharing. Could you just provide a little color on your vetting process and how you vet and how often you vet your distributor?
Well, we don't have a business yet. We don't vet anybody yet. But how we would go about doing that, sure. So, I have an inside lane, an inside view of the industry because I represent many different cannabis companies, operators from the cultivation side, manufacturing side, distribution side, retailers, everything and anything between investors and regulators as well. I'm part of a group of top attorneys in New York. We share inside information about things that we have to deal with, make plans on how we're going to deal with the regulations and nuances that are very relevant to compliance. Because of the fact that I have an inside lane from my practice, I hope that when we are vetting our distributors and our product manufacturers, we're going to be only dealing with people that are the highest reputation, basically people that we know that are not pulling products from California and repackaging it and selling it in New York. Because we've already seen, because this example that I just showed, it shows that it's not just about, property rights is a very interesting topic in law in general. When a retailer buys inventory from a manufacturer or from a distributor, you would assume that product is now his, it belongs to him. So if this company is called Omnium, if they got pinched for doing something illegal, not that the products were not vetted, not safe, but rather that they didn't get it the right way, you would assume that Omnium should bear the brunt of it, and that Omnium should face a fine. But what did the regulators do? The regulators did is that they sent out a press, basically an email to every single licensee, and they said, any product that you have, and it was like, I don't know, hundreds of products, if you have any of these products on your shelves or in stream of commerce, you need to quarantine them and put them aside. And that is it's a very interesting question on property rights, because you would think that the retailers, if they paid for it, they paid Omnium for it, now it's my product, I put them in my inventory, I put them on my website, I have them on my shelves, I've categorized them, I've spent money to deal with this, you think that it's theirs. It's not their products are not unsafe. The OCM said it. We're not saying these products are unsafe. But because of what we saw, because of how we saw that the OCM basically says that these products are not yours by right. They're yours because you're part of this industry which we oversee. And therefore, any products that you have are only yours because we say that they're allowed to be yours. It makes the decision of who to work with a much more nuanced and much more important decision than just, hey, where can I get the cheapest products from? We have to deal with reputable people across the board. Otherwise, we could be in jeopardy and out money. And in this case, it's really not like a reputation issue, but it's a money issue. Right? All these retailers, I don't know, let's say one retailer has almost all their products from Omnium. What do? They're out the money, they're out the product. So we don't want to be put in that situation. So we're going to be very, very careful about who we deal with, and I'm going to use my relationships to help vet, and hopefully we'll be successful at avoiding any bad apples. Hopefully. Yeah, sure. Thanks for the question.
Okay, so this is our last question, but I'm gonna forego my question because I saw Anicia raise her hand. But just to let you know, our next person will be coming up at 7:45. So let's just keep it.
I can speak faster if you like.
Hi.
Right.
I'm concerned about that you said that your business is going to have delivery.
Yeah.
Okay. I was down Jackson Avenue in Long Island City and I saw posters, just free deliveries, about it's going to be an open business, that how are you going to keep track of checking for age verification and all that? But these people already put in flyers in the neighborhoods that they do delivery.
It's a great question. So the stickers and the flyers that you saw are 99% likely to be non-compliant companies that are offering delivery for illegal products. The regulations for New York retailers who are offering delivery services are required to do age verification before the product even leaves the dispensary. We have to have the products pre-sold. So there's ice cream truck model, and then there's the ice cream truck versus pizza truck. What is it? I forgot. Whatever. There's these different versions of how you sell with delivery. The ice cream truck model is not something that New York allows, which basically means that you go out on the street with a delivery truck with inventory and you just find customers. That's not allowed in New York. We can't do that. We're only allowed to sell to people that have pre-purchased, and we only go directly to their delivery, and we check IDs, and they have that verification that that's the person that made the purchase, and we give it to them. That's it. We don't have, it's not a free-for-all, and by the way, what you're pointing out is exactly what we're trying to resolve, is there's a major confusion, and actually it's a big concern that we have, is how are customers gonna know that our spot is legal just because it says it's legal? They may think that we're just another illegal dispensary, right? So we have that risk that we're taking when we get into this industry, that we're gonna have confusion, that we're a compliant business, we're paying taxes, we have to comply with all these regulations, and all these cowboys are doing whatever, they put stickers, and they don't do age verification, you're right? So that's, again, a reason why we're hoping to make a difference. And I don't want to be a bad apple. I want to be able to fix this. I want to be able to offer products, people that want safe products, tested products, and they don't want to be sold to kids. And I don't want my kids to be able to walk into some store and just buy weed, God forbid, the saddest day of my life. I'm probably worse things, but that's pretty bad, right? My wife's probably watching this later. That's the worst thing. The point is that those are bad apples, and we are completely distinct from that. I appreciate the question because it shows us more reason why we need to be here.
Just one last question, pretty much yes, no. Are we compliant on the 1,000 feet?
What's your question?
The distance from Curaleaf?
No, we're within 1,000 feet. We're more than 500 feet. So the new regulation, today was a new, today they signed it, they passed, or rather it got adopted, the new PCA regulations, which is the Public Convenience and Advantage regulations. So in order to get a dispensary approved in New York, you have to follow all the zoning compliance regulations. Our previous location, which is approved, is grandfathered in. So if we do stay, if we're forced to stay where we are right now, with just a retail spot, we will. And we're compliant, even though we're within 1,000 feet, even though we're within 300 feet of Curaleaf. But the new regulations, they don't allow you to even ask for a waiver within 500 feet of another dispensary. So we are now going under the new regulations, I believe, which basically says that if you are more than 500 feet away from a competing dispensary, you can apply for a waiver. So we have the ability to do so. Based on the new regulations, we can apply with basically everything. Because they've been open for more than a year, they've been open, we're offering different products, there's a lot of justifications. So to your point, no, we are not more than 1,000 feet. We are within 1,000 feet, but we are more than 500 feet away, so therefore we're compliant.
So applying for a variance, or are the regulations now 500 feet? I'm sorry. Is it 500 feet or is it 1,000
No,
feet?
it's still 1,000 feet.
It's still 1,000 feet.
In order to be compliant with the new regulations, which would be for a waiver, it's called PCA waiver, you have to be more than 500 feet. So this location is 580 feet or 590 feet long.
Okay, thank you very much.
Sure.
good
Hi.
evening. Just one question actually, because he asked
Sure.
mine. In regards to, I just want to clarify the comment you made at the top of the meeting in regards to how Austin Street is utilized, because this will help inform some work we do in other committees.
Sure.
Are you saying that you believe that having the street utilized in an open fashion like it has on several different occasions, like the street fair, or like when we close it down for concerts, when Continentals closed down, or like when they had to close down recently for trick or treats? Is that something that you think will benefit your business, or do you think that it will harm your business?
It's a great question, and I think it's a loaded question, unfortunately, because I think it's so circumstantial.
Okay.
Because some days, it's a day where it's really for kids, you know?
Yeah, so that's not gonna do you
That's what I'm
any
saying, like,
good.
I wouldn't say that a day where they have parks and festivals,
Yeah.
there's pony rides, like, oh, that's a day that's gonna be great for our dispensary. I mean, for
Mhm.
some parents maybe,
Yeah.
but, you know, hopefully, that's not really what we're
Yeah.
looking for.
But like a street fair kind of
I would
day or
say,
a concert?
I would say that it could be both sides. You know, there's
Mhm.
a way to say that it's great, and there's a way to say it's not great. You know, parking wise, impossible. You can't drive there. But are we really serving the community if they have to drive in, right? Maybe that's not the community that we're looking to serve.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, is like, I don't think people drive to like, the best comparison I have is like, I do not drive to my local liquor store.
Right.
I literally walk 4 blocks, hang a right stop before I get to the Baharian temple, and I synagogue, and I pick it up. You know, that's about it. So I can't see people saying, oh, I gotta get in the car to go get, you know. So I would think that's sort of why I was curious, because we get a lot of information about businesses and what they think, and we're being told not directly from the businesses, and because you're going to be likely to be in that area, you know, it's just helpful to understand. It sounds to me like it's a situational kind of, you know.
I would say that there's 2 factors that I can consider being very
Mhm.
relevant in that situation.
Yeah.
One is, if we had parking, then I would say, man, this is the worst thing ever for us.
Of course.
We don't have parking.
Yeah.
I mean, there's street parking.
Nobody does.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So, I mean, if we were further down the block near the municipal lot, I might say, hey, this is terrible when it gets shut down, da da da. But that's not what we're saying.
Okay.
You know, so that's the first thing. The other side of it is that when you have these let me just go to your point. There's a lot of dispensaries that are available, you know, and you asked this question, like, you know, Curaleaf has products, like, what's the advantage of having this one? You know, I told you the diversity of products, and it's a small business, it's a very different model that we have, that they have, all that is true. But I have seen people, and maybe this is more relevant in Manhattan, like, there could be, you know, a Gristini, whatever, like, you know, your local supermarket over here on this block, and then one literally down the block, the same one, and people who live here will never, ever shop over here, never. Maybe they didn't even know it exists, because they only shop locally. So
Hyper local.
right, and I think that's what I've experienced Forest Hills really is there's a lot of walking. I never walked this much in my life until I met my wife. She walks everywhere, and like that's just the thing. People walk around in Forest Hills, and it's really nice. So I'm not so concerned of like I don't want to be on one side of that debate or the other, because I really do see, you know, the days where it's closed down and people are walking around saying, oh, maybe that's gonna be the first time they ever saw the dispensary.
Yeah, I just thought it was an interesting observation you made at the top, and it's always good to kind of hear from businesses, you know, so thank you so much for that.
Oh, sorry, I just want to add one more thing.
Yes.
With respect to delivery,
Yeah.
that's where it could cause potentially a problem for us,
Yeah.
right? So if we have to do dispatch on a day when there's no access, you know, we'll have to find another route to get out. So I know that this property, I spoke to the landlord about it, there's in the back of it, there's like an alleyway that goes to the next street over.
Oh, okay.
But apparently, I thought that we would have access to it so we could do, you know, delivery from the back, or it's not his. Apparently, the property owner lost it, or it's became, I'm not sure if it's owned by an adjacent building, or I don't know
That's
what.
interesting. I think everyone could use the
I
alley.
would have thought so.
Yeah.
Here we are.
I'm sorry about that.
But it's a good question, thank you.
Next steps are going to be, our meeting is a week from tonight. So today's what, the 5th? So tomorrow, so it'll be on the 12th. We will get to you the recommendation, but we're going to hear from the next applicant, and then we will have a discussion and do a vote. I believe we have a quorum tonight. And then we will let you know what the recommendation is, and then we will hope to see you on the 12th.
Thank you very, very much.
Thank you very
It's really
much.
good to see you all again.
Good to see
and I'm
you.
sorry I have to see you again without saying, hey, we're open, come on in. You know,
Yeah. No, No, these things
One
happen.
foot in front of the other, here we go.
No, we've seen many applicants whose locations have fallen through, and it happens. I think it's just it's the unfortunate price of doing business.
Yeah.
So, but
You
thank
hear
you.
that? Honey, it's not just me.
No, it's not just you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Have a great night. Shall we go soon?
Yes, please. Yeah, go ahead.
Do you want another chair on another? Hi, good evening. Thank you for coming, thank you for waiting.
Anytime. Thank you. Yes.
Absolutely. So if you can please just introduce yourselves and tell us about the business.
Okay.
Thank you.
My name is Sean Passaretti. I am the general manager of Natural Leaf, and I have the pleasure of sitting next to me to my left, Ranjinda Singh, the owner and operator, the fully licensed tax-paying cannabis dispensary. We are looking to open up our shop at 9848 Queens Boulevard in Rego Park, the long vacant former Blinds to Go building. So just a couple things about us. We own a couple other businesses, real estate being one, as well as a car service and a construction business. So this spot at Blinds to Go appealed to us because it has been vacant for about 5 to 7 years. There's graffiti covering the front building, or the front of the facade. The roof is leaking, and the parking lot is starting to deteriorate in the back, which is also a bonus for our business because it's not disrupting the traffic flow on Queens Boulevard. So that's great. Another thing of why we like the location is we are 100% compliant with the OCM rules. We are not near schools or churches or other dispensaries, so we have a good buffer zone between all those, the schools, the churches, and other dispensaries. We are fully in compliance with the OCM. We are fixing the problem on Queens Boulevard, not creating one. Like I said, the storefront has sat empty with no current business in there benefiting the community. So we felt this was a good opportunity for us to come in, renovate the building, modernize it to make it almost like that Apple Store feel when people are driving by in the community. We would like to, of course, put in tempered glass outside. We hired an architect to, begin our drawings, and we are looking to do everything brand new. There's no sense of putting a Band-Aid over something that needs to be, to start over and start fresh. So that's our mindset on the building. And of course, we are looking to have a safe and quality, trusted dispensary for the community, where we have lab-tested products, of course, for potency, pesticides, and heavy metals. We don't want to be, we want a good sense of quality that we distribute to the public. Of course, we will have, security guard and, the cameras to OCM's requirements. Of course, that security guard will be checking IDs prior to entering the facility where they could see display cases and product outlay. We will definitely have a zero underage sale policy where people that are over 21 will be granted permission to come in, and under 21, of course, they will be not allowed in. This is just a retail dispensary location. We do not want any consumption on the premises. We are looking at this as a modern day pharmacy or a modern day liquor store, where they come in, they get the product that benefits them, and they leave the premises and go home to consume it safely. Of course, like I said, we'll have security. We'll have a minimum 16 camera that has a cloud storage where we have 90 days or 120 days of recorded activity at the store. And of course, we would keep the sidewalks safe, clean, and free of loitering. Right now, just driving past the building, we do notice people are loitering outside, so we are looking to enhance the community, renovate the building, and make it appealing for people passing by on Queens Boulevard. And then that gets to the community. We are looking to hire specifically in the community. So we're not looking to bring outside people from Long Island or Manhattan. We are looking to hire in the 11374 zip code. And of course, then there comes, community givebacks. What does that exactly mean? For an example, Thanksgiving is coming up, so we would have a turkey drive, a raffle, almost like a community give back. One, to give back to the community, and also to create relationships with the people that do live in the community. We feel that is important, that we know who our customers are, we know who we're serving, and we know who we're helping. With that, we can open up the floor for questions or concerns in that matter.
Hi. Thank you so much for being here tonight. I really appreciate it. I know it's a cold and windy evening. So I just have a few questions. You mentioned real estate, construction, car service. Why cannabis? What made you want to get into this type of adventure?
So it's an interesting business, and growing up, I'm sure everyone has once or twice consumed cannabis outside of the legal matter. So we also want to bring a sense of safety to the community, and like you guys discussed with the previous applicant, the issue of illegal sales of cannabis. That worries us because, again, it only takes one time for a bad accident to happen. So if we feel that we can come in, give a good product to the community that is controlled, safe, it helps everyone's causes.
Thank you. I was personally excited when I read this because months ago it's an eyesore to me when I drive by it. But to that point, there were a lot of windows in that, and one of the concerns that we've had in previous applicants is people walking by and seeing those type of products. Are you planning to potentially cover the windows or put up a glass barrier that kind of deters people from just, looking in the window like that?
So we're kind of in the process of deciding. We thought of tempered glass. We thought of like the tints so people can look in and see, the product. And then also we were thinking about roll down gates where at the end of the day, the employees will close up shop, roll down the gates, lock them, almost like the liquor stores, what they do. This way it's secured, people can't break in that way. And it's a great point that you're bringing up because ownership of Lines to Go, the building, when we were negotiating leases, they actually said they had a problem with people breaking in, breaking the glass, and actually sleeping and using it as shelter. So that was, a concern when we first looked at the space. So I would say our short answer is we have a couple different solutions. One being a roll-down gate, like a common day, like the liquor stores. Two being a stronger glass, and not more so like the thin, Anderson glass or whatever it is. And then three would be to put almost like a tint where you couldn't look in to see anything. It would be like almost like a mirror tint.
Mr. Singh, I have a question for you specifically. On the application, and I don't know if it was you that filled this out or someone in charge, but it says here that you, as the applicant/owner, plan to be on site daily. Is that correct? With all of your other businesses, you plan to still be at the store daily?
Yeah, I'm coming daily.
Okay.
Check it out, everything good. Very good.
Beautiful.
It's very responsibility product. So I have to responsible for that. My presence to take care of community and take care of everything.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I was going to say, these are all my questions for now, so I'm going to really...
Are you guys a justice applicant?
Justice applicant?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're a justice applicant?
Who,
Have you had any previous convictions for selling synthetic marijuana?
No.
No. No. Then you have a very common name, my friend. You never did any work with selling green machine pods?
No.
Okay. Okay. So that's helpful because in my research there was a Rahinder Singh who had sold, basically they were vapes laced with CBD and it was illegal. And he was arrested and then on probation in 2017. So I just wanted to clear that up to make sure you weren't that Rahinder Singh.
No.
No. Okay. All right. The other thing is, thank you. I just want to say, as somebody who lives literally four blocks away, yes, there have been people. In fact, there was one person who was pretty much living there permanently for a while. We had sent the organization Breaking Ground to them. Barbara, you would probably remember helping me with this one woman, and she lived outside through most of the hot summer. Are you going to be providing parking to your customers?
Yes.
Yes, so in the back of 9848, there's a parking lot. So if we are coming down, if we are going east on Queens Boulevard, before the building, there's a driveway entry where provides parking in the back. It's about 25 to 28 spots allocated to our storefront.
Okay. And then the plot of land to your right is undeveloped. To your left.
To your left.
Is it?
If you're looking at Blinds to Go, it's to your left is undeveloped.
I guess I'm just thinking about me sitting in the store.
Then
I'm
it's
sitting
to
in
your
Blinds to Go over here
Mhm.
to 66.
If you're sitting
Yeah.
in the store looking out Queens Boulevard,
Yeah.
it's to your right.
Yeah,
If you're
that's what I
looking
meant.
to at Blinds to Go,
Yeah.
it's undeveloped.
So do you know? I mean, because that's going to be sitting there like that. Are you concerned at all about it looking undeveloped and being the way it is until somebody decides to build something there?
No,
No.
I don't see that being, a disadvantage to us.
Okay. And then security-wise, I think you're in good shape. As far as folks, because one of the places that this one particular individual liked to sleep was like right there in that driveway. Will you be putting up a gate at night to be prohibiting entrance to that area?
So currently, as it stands right now, there is a chain link fence that ownership does lock. So yes, we would, keep it. I think that is actually a benefit to us. This way, people don't park their cars overnight in the facility or case it, or which we don't want to think about, but it is something to consider when we are opening up these type of businesses. And it's not visible from Queens Boulevard, so it would be a benefit to us to have that gate locked at night, along with the windows in the front. And I think it'll help our security concerns.
Okay. And then the only other thing is, you're fine. Is like you said, you're not wrong in saying that you're well within. You're not obstructing any schools or anything like that. You're not within the distances. But I will make a note that on the very next block is a synagogue or Natan. So just making that note, you are more than the distance enough. I've checked it myself. But I just wanted to make a note that whereas you are in legal, there is, literally just one block away. So I just wanted to make a note of that.
Yeah,
Okay.
and what we do before we even go to the location is we run the due diligence on proximity to churches, schools, houses of worship, and other dispensaries. We don't want to waste anyone's time, especially community boards, and lock up a space where it's not viable for us to open up.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Does anyone have any other questions? Okay, I think she has a question.
I have a question regarding the building, because that location is pretty big. So you're occupying the full location, and it's a big project.
The location is 2875 square feet, so just under 29 square feet. Some people think it's big. I actually think it's perfect for us because it does give us an opportunity to partition some walls for security purposes and not have an overcrowding situation. So when people come in through, they check their IDs, they get approved, then they can flow into the store and it's not so crowded and the people can, you know, we kind of want like an Apple. If you can think of going into the Apple store, you check in with the Apple Genius at the front. They tell you what section to go to, and then you proceed to that area. You get your product or whatever, and then you proceed out. So that was kind of our thought process with the dispensary as well. We have looked at smaller locations, but we felt that it would be like crammed in there, and it wouldn't be a nice customer experience. So yes, it is a little bigger than some of the other stores that you may have, you know, seen and spoken to, but we actually view it as a benefit to our operation.
Great. This will be my last question, I promise.
You can ask as many questions.
I know, but I want to think about the time and also everybody else on the committee. So my question is going to be the exact same question I asked the individual that was just here. This is a new business. Typically, you end in the red the first year, typically. Hopefully you end in the black. I always want to put out positive vibes. But what is your contingency plan? What is your backup plan if you notice that being on Queens Boulevard, the foot traffic may be not as high as you expected? You know, I didn't look if you provided the lease agreement. I didn't see it, so that's my fault. But you know, I don't know how much you guys are paying monthly, but I'm thinking it might be a little expensive. I could be wrong. So I just wanted to see what is your plan of
how to survive and
yes, because we want to
be
make
part
sure
of the community.
Yes, we're very focused on making sure that when someone comes in that they stay for a while. We don't want to see these people shudder after like 1 year. You know, things like that.
We don't want to as well, just because of the amount of work that we need to put into the building to, you know, make it appealing for the community. You know, what I see is on the back end is advertising and also your website. What I've noticed is if certain dispensaries, not calling any of them out, if they lack on the online presence, that will deter people to go to another dispensary. We want a friendly user experience where they go on their phone and they can go to our website. It's a clear, easy website. They put in their order, they put their name in, and then pay, and then either come pick it up or delivery service. Yes, we are conscious, and of course we want to survive and prosper. So we are gonna focus on the website and how to display that to our customers as well as advertising. And like I said earlier, part of the community give back is to make relations with the community and also see what the community wants, because we could put product in the store and maybe the community doesn't want that type of product. So with interaction with the community, we can tailor our store to products that benefit them and help them, and we all succeed.
Any questions?
Okay, well, I have a question then.
Yes.
I love this part of I love talking to the applicant.
Yeah.
So, one of the things that the other individual had said that they had talked to the community board and synagogues, I kind of want to see who have you all talked to within the neighborhood to let them know that, hey, your plans are to open a legal cannabis dispensary. Have you talked to any neighborhood associates? Have you looked up to see anything like that to make sure that your presence is known besides just hey, we're open, come in? Are you doing a soft launch? Are you having a specific select group of people coming in to see your products, to see if it's something that they're going to be interested in, things like that?
That's a great question. So I think, of course it's on our minds, but I think we're getting ahead of the horse a little bit with that, because of course we want to make sure that the community allows us first. And then of course we have to do the construction and everything. But Part of our due diligence in scoping out the site was to walk the neighborhood and kind of just bump into people and get, see what people's attitudes were. We had a couple people that were ear to ear smiling, excited for a potential cannabis store to enter the community. That was our beginning stages of vetting the community and kind of gauging whether their excitement. In other words,
I think the location is amazing, and the fact that you're going to have parking, I think is going to give you an edge. And I can envision the way that you want it to look, and I think it's going to be very attractive. I don't live too far from there either.
Well, we hope to see
but
that.
yes, we'll probably will see you there.
Okay, great.
Similar to another question I asked the other individual is, I don't see it here in the notes. And, one thing I want to say is, if you wrote this or you wrote this up, thank you for the detailed answers. That helps us to not have to ask so many questions. If you notice, there's not a lot of questions from everybody. But I did want to see here, I don't see it. Are you working with an outsourced security consultant? Are you guys going to be hiring people under your employee registrar? Like, how's that process going to be with security guards?
Are you asking for, are we going to hire basically our own security or like a third party company?
Yeah, are you going to interview your people, your security, and then have them hired? Or are you going to work with an outsourced consultant that has trained de-escalation technique, security guards that are going to come in, and you just pay the consultant and they pay them?
At first, I believe we're going to do the third party, but again, we're looking to grow as a community with people that are from the community. So my ultimate goal, and I'm sure Mr. Singh over here would agree with me, is that we would look to hire someone that is qualified in those fields, but also bring them in under us. It gives more of a sense of community and more family style of running a business, not just he's an employee, he's a number, and he comes in, he leaves, and that's it. We want to create more of a family aspect with our employees and our team.
That's great to hear. I guess so. That to add on to that, are either one of you from the community?
I am not. No.
Okay. So being the GM and the owner, I'm hoping that your assistant GM will most likely start from there and maybe go down. I'm not trying to get ahead of it.
Yeah.
But hopefully we will.
No, of course.
But if you're looking to be a family and a community focused, it's just something that would be really great to see.
Yeah.
You two were not in the community.
Yeah, and we're both hands-on, so
Great.
like when you asked, are we both going to be there, and yes, the answer is
I
yes.
assumed you were going to be there just based on what I saw on the application. It said he was going to be there, so I just wanted to make sure I'm understanding.
No, of
correctly.
course. With any new business, if you are not there as the owner or a high-level manager, you're setting yourself up for failure. So we're very hands-on. At first, it's we're going to have to bring in a team, and then we'll go down the line of bringing in the community for our team. But, it's a new business, so we have to be there, opening the gates and closing the gates. If we're not, then we are setting ourselves up for failure, and, all this is a waste.
I mean, that's great. You, as a manager leader, you need to show that you're willing to be there on the ground as well for the first couple months or to a year. So that's great to
About
hear.
2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 years.
Appreciate that.
You have to lead, and by being a leader, your employees need to see that, I'm the first one there, I'm the last one to leave. Like with Mr. Singh over here. So that's kind of our mindset and our mentality with operating the business.
And one question. Since your location is much bigger, I'm assuming that you'll have more inventory than probably others. So it's just as an assumption. What's your plan for disposal if the inventory that you have doesn't sell, or you just have to get rid of? Maybe the community didn't like some of the products that you offer. What's your plan for disposal?
So I would use the word disposal loosely.
I'm not sure what the right
Yeah,
word is.
return could be a better word. So if, let's just say we have a type of product and the community rejects that type of product, meaning it's not, high sales or it's not what the community is looking for, we could go back to our vendors and say, hey, listen, we're sorry, but we're going to return this. They'll credit us, and we'll find the inventory that better suits our community.
One last quick one.
Yes.
So what's your timeline? Construction to open? What's the goals?
ASAP, of course. We have an architect drawn up plans. As you guys may know, there is a license, pending license attached to this location. Previously, before COVID, there was a medical marijuana company, I believe they're corporate now and public, that wanted to lease the location from ownership. For whatever reason, they did not get it off the ground. COVID happened. Ownership terminated the lease, and the tenant surrendered the keys. So, long answer is we need to remove that license to put our license there. As soon as we get approval, we are ready to start the construction. In terms of construction time, if all goes well and there's no hiccups, we're looking at 3 months to do the construction. As you guys may know, construction, there can be some hiccups, so we are estimating conservatively 4.5 months. It is a little easier to do the type of construction we're doing on this location because it is a gut renovation. So, we're going to put in new HVAC systems. It's almost easier than doing like Band-Aid job and like repairing stuff and alternate. If you just rip it out and start fresh, it's an easier renovation. So we're estimating 3 to 4 months. But, we need to remove the license. But if everything is in order, and you just, give us a time clock, 4 months max, we're open.
So probably spring, yeah. March, April.
Yeah, we're in November right now,
Yeah.
so you're looking at like April,
Okay.
call it, for a grand opening and,
All right.
yeah.
I'm glad you're considering this location. I think it really, I keep walking by there and I'm like, is there any more room for graffiti? So thank you
Or
for
other
that.
tenants.
Yeah, right. Okay, so as I told the other applicant, we will be meeting as a community board next Wednesday. Our office can give you a copy of the agenda if we haven't already, and we'll expect to see you there to answer any questions. We do distribute to our community board your questionnaire and a recording of the meeting in hopes that they'll prepare and not ask questions that have already been addressed, but it is possible that they may. We will also let you know in advance of the meeting what this committee's recommendation is going to be presented at that meeting, okay?
Excellent.
All right.
Thank you all
Thank you
for your
very
time, I
much.
appreciate it.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much.
Thank you.
Now go out and
Do you
get
have
some
any questions
questions.
for us?
No,
No?
we are ready to open and you guys, that's the request to you that you have.
We're ready to serve the community.
Yeah.
All right.
For community and good relationship with everyone.
Perfect.
Thank you so much.
You being here for us tonight.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Thank you. All right.
Mike, right here.
Go eat, go drink, go sleep, go do your thing.
Yes. Thank you all so much.
Go to a cannabis shop, what you think?
Go dinner.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't worry about it.
No, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, I think Brentley had to take care of his car, is that about right?
Thank you.
Okay,
Good night, everyone.
good night.
Good night.
So we can start with the first applicant. Are there any discussion, any questions, anything? You can keep it on.
Yes.
I think Christine prefers that, and I'm cool with whatever Christine's cool with.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do we want to go, let's go with the first one. Any questions, any observations that you want to? I mean, it's the second time. that they're-
Yeah, because it's the way every table has one.
Well, first of all, obviously, not being within 1,000 feet, I'm against waivers. We you said the resident will have one on every block.
I'm confused with that, honestly, because he said that that's something that changed today. If I understand, I was not aware of it, so.
So-
It used to be 500 feet from another location.
No, it
It's-
was 1,000 feet from the location. And now the waiver component needs to be a minimum of 500
You're right.
feet. There's a
Yeah, yeah.
threshold now for the waiver. That's as I understood.
Yeah, no, I got it. That was confusing.
Okay,
How-
here's,
That's how I
here's,
understood it.
here's,
Schools is 500, another location is, yeah, no, I'm
Here's,
so sorry.
here's the law. Municipalities with 20,000 or more residents require a minimum of 500 feet between dispensaries. Municipalities with fewer than 20,000 residents require a minimum of 1,000 feet. So we're within the 500 feet. And they are, they will be beyond, because I actually measured the distance, because I didn't have their exact address, and I know Ann Taylor's pretty close by, and it's actually closer than they are. And it's there over 500 feet, secure leave.
So it's not a waiver.
So no, they're not asking for a variance at this time. That is our understanding. They would have had to have asked for a variance at the last location, because they were literally like touching butts as far as businesses are concerned.
So it's definitely not 1,000 feet. Definitely.
No, because 1,000 feet is for 20,000 residents or fewer, and we have more than 20,000 residents in Forest Hills, that's for damn sure. Yeah.
Secondly, I don't know if I think it has any impact, but just making you aware, I mean, everybody has different ways of going about getting their licenses and getting their business operational. This one I had pointed out previously, you know, that just like anyone would, this guy pretty much just took everyone he knows and a family member and had them fill an application for a dispensary. His wife won the lottery. She is the applicant, but
He's the one that represents.
he's the one representing, he's the one running the business, it's, yeah. Even stranger, not that that's strange, because I would have done that myself. Just to point out, the lease, the landlord address is the same as his office address. He never made any mention to it. I just thought it was a little weird. I wasn't gonna bring it to his attention, but just thought I'd share that with you guys. Just, I don't know a better way to say this. Something just does not run you correctly about this operation. What's the average lease amount on Austin Street?
What's that?
It's just weird because it's a $5,000 month lease on Austin Street. And then it's like his all office address is the exact same office as the landlord. Whatever, I mean, you secure a lease, I mean, whether his partners want the building in order for them to get the lease, who knows? But,
That's something that we can ask on the next meeting.
I mean, it doesn't change the application, I'm just, kind of sharing it. There's so much about.
Something doesn't feel right.
Yeah. Yes, yeah.
We did have one, but we can keep it, that's one.
Any other comments?
We had one applicant one time that they owned the building, or they were planning on owning the building, so they wouldn't have to.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of landlords are still skeptical of taking on a dispensary as a tenant. If I was a landlord, I would take it on. I mean, as a landlord, the first thing I want is to make it's a longer lease and it's a higher paying lease, it's more secure. Taking on a dispensary lease is going in the unknown.
It's a gamble.
It's a gamble, right? And $5,000 is a very nice lease on Austin Street. It's my 2 cents.
I would say I'm against on-site consumption. I know he's made it seem like I don't want to put the cart, whatever, for the horse, but they seem pretty intent on trying to get that to go through. So I'm not sure why that would be something that the community would welcome.
That has to be approved by the OCM right now. And then they have to do the investment and they have to be operating, so. It did cause a little bit of controversy the last time that we had it, when he presented, because he was the first one, and he's been, so far, the only applicant that has mentioned that wants the online consumption. So I don't know if he wants to be the first one to do it. I think, I have the feeling that that's what he wants, to be kind of the pioneer and be the first one to have an on-site consumption and just draw the blades. I mean, show people how to do it. So I don't know. I mean, it could happen. He said that the landlord may not approve it when the time comes, but at this point, we're not deciding on that. So it's just whether. Yeah.
I just wanted to share, on the first property he was going to take was on Continental, where the really cool coffee shop is. What's it called? We spoke about earlier.
Something?
So his plan was, that building got a lot of space in the back. He was going to actually rent. His lease was going to include either the space on the second floor or in the back, or whatever. And he was going to create kind of like a coffee shop / lounge or whatever. I think moving into this, it was just a long shot of right at this location. I don't see it ever having a consumption unless he takes from the bank next door and like creates that Amsterdam kind of vibe. But I think we're a long ways from that.
But he said that consumption doesn't only mean smoking. It can be just other products. So he may still be able to provide that without the smoking.
You can sell edibles, but you can't consume them on the premises. So.
One of the concerns I had was about the hours of operation, 10 to 11 p.m.
Well, he said he was flexible to that, and we've had applicants in the past where they came with longer hours, and we mentioned that in that particular location, that late is not going to cut it because it was very residential. So far, people were willing to, but that's something that we can bring up on the next meeting. But he did mention, you asked about that.
It's flexible, but we can also add that as a, what's the word? Heather, what's the word that we say, like, if we're gonna say yes with conditions?
Conditions,
Yes,
yes.
conditions, with conditions.
Yes. But in that area, when concerts come out, they come at around 10, so between 10 and 11, I don't think it's that crazy, and you still have bars open. Maybe not open during the week, or during the winter when there is not that much activity in that area, so he might have summer hours of winter, which we can do as a condition.
Okay, no, but he's open real early in the morning.
10?
Yeah.
At the beginning, when he started talking, he didn't complain, because he saw that like he was not closing the street for community activities. And then when, like I asked him, he sort of like changed. But I don't think he was happy that the closing of the street, that's something that is beneficial. Something that is beneficial for the community. Because everybody enjoyed those street closing.
I think his concern with closing the street was the fact that if you wanted to offer delivery, then you have to walk out of the store with the product to be able to reach the car. So I don't know, maybe that's his only concern.
I feel like he may or may not be that person who comes to our community board and speaks up for or against those open streets. But I think that's something, again, as Robert says, it's something that we will have to address when it happens. But also, if you notice, a lot of the open streets we've had are focused on family and kids, and maybe he also mentioned he may or may not close. So. It all depends, and I liked how Heather added that if there's someone that's coming to the store, they may or may not be driving. It's going to be more of a walking situation, or transportation. I don't know. But yeah, I think that's what. I apologize for being late, but I think the only thing that I wanted to say about this Soho dispensary was. I was able to talk to him more about how he's planning to market the company, and that's something that I would like to have heard more. But when he left, he told me that he had a whole thing about it, so I can talk to him separately about that, but that was the only thing that kind of made me wonder, how are you planning to market it properly within OCM standards? So that's all I wanted to bring up.
And Robert had a concern with the rent you stopped away. We were talking that it was really, I mean, a 5-year lease, 5,000 a month. Do you know about the other rents or anything that you can give guidance?
So I've been doing some
Research.
Yeah, so the company that you noticed that has the same address, who noticed that? If I had cookies, I'd throw one at you, you get a cookie. According to my research, they've only been open for 3 months. So they're a 3-month-old company. And according to Zola, which is a government resource, when I go to that specific address, according to Zola, the current owner of that space is not SD Lease Corporation. It is Tedmar Realty Corporation. So I don't know if the lease corporation is the corporation that manages leases for them, but this particular business name was only registered in July, 3 months ago. Now, according to this, what I've been able to see is that this space that he's looking at is in and around 2,472 square feet, okay? And an estimate, they're basically saying that that particular area might be worth up to $105 per square feet per year. So if that were the case, then there should be charging something like $20,000, which I think you believe sounds more reasonable. So I mean,
Very interesting. I mean, it doesn't change, sorry.
well, the thing is, are we being handed a lease that literally was typed up at home? Like, is this genuine? How do we know that this is a genuine lease? Because this doesn't look like other leases that we have received. Like, if you do compare this, you know, there's a commercial lease, yes, but this is a generic, you know, there doesn't seem to be, I don't know, because they say that the SD Lease Corp is the landlord. But when I look down through this, you know, I don't know how the landlord is different than, and he spent a lot of time talking about how they kept working with them to try to come to terms and try to make things work out. So I wish there was a way to verify if this was legit. Because these are clearly computer-generated signatures, which is kind of standard these days, I know. I mean, I do most of my medical forms that way. I don't know what to think here.
Just realize that this is it's the family member of the president. The president is Lee Moore Fetter. He's David Fetter.
That's his wife, that's the wife.
Yeah, that's the wife.
Who is the person that signed, who was the landlord used to sign this?
Right, I don't see a landlord signature too, and that's the thing.
No, he's the landlord.
So he owns the property?
He signed it as the landlord. It's just spaced out where the landlord, SDB Corp, David Fetter, president, the tenant, the Moore Fetter, president. He is the landlord. He signed it as the landlord.
So then what was all this haggling back and forth that he was going on about?
So I have to assume.
Does he own the building?
Well, he's the Lord.
Do you think that this requires a bit more of a conversation, and maybe we table the recommendation on this? Okay, now here's the thing. Oh!
Sorry, I sat down.
God forbid.
That's okay. Yeah, that's really strange. We're gonna have to talk to them about that because this is new.
Okay.
It's not your fault, Barbara. You're great. So I can talk to Christine. She's supposed to be back in on Monday. If she's not, then maybe, you know, we can follow up with this on Tuesday. That doesn't give us much time. I'm sorry?
We're closed Tuesday.
What's Tuesday? Oh, Veterans Day. Oh, Interessante. Okay. So we'll see. I'll work it out with the office. We'll figure this out. Okay. So are we gonna table this one then?
I think it's
We'll
better,
get that
yeah.
motion to.
Which is.
Yeah, you guys have to do the whole official motion.
So, a motion on the, I have a motion on the floor to table this until we have further clarification on the lease. I need a second. I will motion, second from Joey, Joe, sorry, Joy, I apologize, I'm so sorry, it's been a long day. So I'm, all in favor?
Aye.
You're opposing?
We're gonna table it.
So you're opposing, I know, yeah, I understand. Yeah, never mind. I think we're gonna table it for now, though.
I mean, if anything, there's nothing wrong with them owning the property. We just need the clarity to understand that he is the one that owns the property.
Or a family owns property. Because he mentioned, he's a lawyer and he does a lot of these businesses. So that could be what it is. I have no idea. Maybe he drew up the lease and made a mistake. I don't know.
Okay, so let me
All right, so, yes, sir.
So I just Googled and I came up with still the municipalities with over 20,000 feet, minimum 1,000, fewer than 20,000, 2,000 feet. Am I finding it like an old Google search, or you found it on the state's?
I looked, yeah, what I did was, well, first I went to Zola. And when I went to Zola, it's actually Zola said the lot is 1,600 square feet, but the lot is different than the actual, space, because the lot is just, without the building. And the building was built in 1930. It is a commercial, it's owned by Ted, at least according to the latest records here. It was, it's owned by Ted Mar Realty. And they say the gross floor area is around 2,500 square feet. That's an estimate. So that if it's 2,500 square feet, that's not too off. Because I think, what did I say? It was 2,000, here it is over here. 2,400, I think I said. Yeah, so I said it was 2,472, because I'm sorry, I chat GPT'd the other part of this that I couldn't find. And yeah, does that answer your question? I'm sorry, I feel like I just rambled through that answer.
I just found it on a different website, damn it.
It's okay.
Well, no.
We're all trying.
But quite frankly, I wanted to say no, because I don't want 5 dispensaries on Austin Street, but the law says that there can be 5 dispensaries on Austin Street.
Yeah, okay. So we're gonna table this one. So let's talk about natural leaf then. Back to you, Dave.
All right. Do we have any questions, concerns, comments on natural leaf?
I had to leave, I'm so sorry, but one of the concerns I have is, because I've dealt with this in a business that I was working with, my concern is that, and Heather, I'm thinking, I'm glad you brought it up, my concern is that the lot next to it, if someone is to buy it, what would that look like if it's a building, if it's gonna like the building that's currently on the other side of them that's so tall? Is it gonna look like an eyesore? Are they gonna want to, eventually the owner's gonna want to tear it down and build new, make it like more in line with the other buildings? Those just, I'm just assuming this, and again, as he said, am I putting too much ahead of what we already need to do? But I just think of those things because of air rights. If we dealt with air rights, that means that if a building goes in that's taller than them, they could take over all of that above lines to go if they get it. And that's my concern, is that they're gonna leave in 5 years if they sell that land and build something high up, like a high-rise building. That's my only concern. I just want to point that out, that's all.
No, I understand.
I know it doesn't really deal with us, but I'm just saying,
I don't think that's a big concern. If anything, that location has been empty for several years. And if anybody wanted to build around it that way, they would have done it by now. And if they were to, and I understand the whole air rights, if anything, they can build on top of it and connect it to something else if they wanted, or integrate that location into the new build. So, for me, that's not a concern at all. I think it's just going ahead to.
There are two different owners. The owner of the Blinds to Go plot. So they actually took that block and they broke it into 3. So you've got that one big old expensive building. And then you've got the Blinds to Go, which is owned by, voila, 9848 Queens Boulevard LLC. Clearly they didn't market research that name. And then the other one is owned by the one to the right that needs developed, that looks like a basically looks like a box of rocks. GBA Capital LLC. So there are 3 different owners. So I don't know necessarily that they can encroach on land that they don't actually own, nor can I think they encroach on the area above the land that they don't own. So since they have 2 separate owners, I don't think that that is necessarily a concern. Sure, it's a flippin' eyesore, but they've done really good recently. They've covered the fence with that green so that you can't see anymore, because people have sort of been dumping their stuff. So at least they've sort of tried to cover that up, and they do come and repair it when it gets to be a mess. So hope that helps.
It does.
And Zola is easy to find. It's just Zola NYC, city zoning, and then you can find it, and then you can actually click on any parcel of land to see sort of who owns it, what the zoning is, and so on. It's really, it's kind of helpful.
It's census use data.
It's what?
The census.
Kind of, but it's for the land use.
Any questions, concerns from you guys?
I make a motion.
Sorry for the new people here. I think Lindsay, you're the only one that's. I know, Rob, you were here last year, but I don't know if you were here for this other application. Didn't we have an applicant that was a former, that was you said it was the justice?
They're not.
They didn't open? Did they not open? I thought they were open. They were opening down the road near Queens Boulevard. When the old.
Yeah, they did open.
They did. So
Chase.
yeah. So.
But that's like way down on. It's on 63rd Drive where the subway.
Okay. Just want to make sure that they're not going to be competing with each other. That was my only thought I wanted to bring up.
Like if we use the liquor as a model, then no.
Okay. So that was the only thing I wanted to. I was thinking. I was like, oh, are they going to be competing with each other? Okay, then yes, you would make your motion if you like to. I think it may or may not.
Make a motion to take a vote.
Well, yeah, let's take a vote.
What's your motion?
Motion to approve.
Okay.
Any second?
Second?
I second.
Okay. So do you want to do a roll call? Go ahead.
Okay, Robert?
Yes.
Bradley?
Yes.
I'm a yes.
Yes. Yeah.
She's not on. Oh, no.
Yes.
Yes. Because we have more. So the yeses have it.
I'm sorry, did I just kind of push that vote, just assuming that everybody was on board?
No.
I don't know if we had something to say or.
It's not the same. I don't think we would characterize it as on board. I think I would characterize it as had enough information to make a decision.
Yeah.
Because I think,
Okay.
I think it's fine. All right.
So, yep. So
Any questions?
Yeah. They're going to be coming hopefully to our meeting. Please be mindful at 8:30. Oh, hello. Welcome to the. You told me you weren't going to be able to make it. I'm glad you're able to
Meeting
come.
number 3, we just finished.
I just came to say hello to you all.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I'm just coming back from Brooklyn.
Yes. Oh, thank you for stopping by. So.
How are you?
Yeah. So just a reminder that if you have any questions, you're still welcome to ask those questions at next week's meeting, but that will be for the wider board to ask their questions. So, hopefully also encourage your fellow table mates to, if you have their emails or phone numbers, text them and tell them to watch this video so that we don't have as many questions, repeating questions. It's always a good thing. But otherwise, thank you so much for coming out on this windy, cold evening. Appreciate your time. If there's no other questions or concerns, we will adjourn this committee meeting and see you all next week. Yes, Nicia.
My question is, are you going to try to contact them to rectify
Christine will, when she comes in next week.
Dispensary, okay.
Yes, so Christine, when she comes back in, she'll reach out to them. Hopefully we'll be able to do it before the meeting. Can't promise with Tuesday being a holiday, but we will do our best. Thank you all. Have a wonderful evening, get home safe. Thank you all. Oh, and meeting is adjourned, but I can have a motion to adjourn the meeting? Second? Okay, perfect. Thank you.